They didn't just build a machine, they took a piece of history, a retired warrior, and gave it new life. It's a dirty, tough, and brilliant job, proving that sometimes to build the future, you first have to crush the past. Alright, let's talk about a job that's bigger than life. Today we're at Primeline Industries, and they do something incredible. They take these massive old United States Army planes, giants that have soared through the skies and served their country, and give them a new purpose. It all starts here, on this vast concrete expanse that feels more like an aircraft graveyard. A team of dedicated workers, true professionals in every sense, are swarming over a retired transport plane. This isn't just any old piece of metal, it's a veteran, a machine with a history etched into its fuselage. The crew's job is to prepare it for its final, and perhaps most important, mission. The preparation is a meticulous and surprisingly delicate process. You can't just throw a multi-ton aircraft into a crusher. First, they have to drain all the fluids. We're talking hydraulic fluid, oil, and any residual fuel. These liquids are hazardous and need to be disposed of properly. It's a messy, grimy job, but it's vital for safety and for the environment. Then they strip out any sensitive electronics and components that can be salvaged or require special handling. It's a bit like being a surgeon, carefully removing vital organs before the main event. Every wire clipped and every panel removed is a step towards its ultimate transformation. Once the plane is prepped, the real heavy lifting begins. And I mean heavy. Giant cranes, the kind you see building skyscrapers, roll into position. Their engines rumble with a deep, powerful growl that you feel in your chest. Huge, thick chains and straps are carefully secured around the plane's body and wings. This is a dance of immense power and precision. One wrong move, one slip, and you've got a catastrophe on your hands. The crane operator, sitting high up in a small cabin, has the weight of this metal beast and the safety of everyone on the ground in their hands. It's a job that demands nerves of steel. Slowly, with a groan of straining metal and the whine of powerful hydraulics, the plane is lifted from the ground. For the last time, it hangs in the air, a silhouette against the sky. It's a strangely poignant moment. This machine was built to fly, and here it is, suspended between the earth and the heavens one final time. The ground crew, looking like ants below, guide it with long poles, ensuring it doesn't swing or twist. They are moving it towards its destiny, a machine so colossal, so intimidating, that it has earned the nickname, the Crusher. The old warrior is about to meet its maker. Now let's talk about this machine. The Crusher isn't just a clever name, it's the world's largest mobile crushing machine, and it's a monster. Imagine a structure several stories high, built of reinforced steel, and powered by engines that could move a freight train. Its purpose is simple, brutal, and utterly effective: to smash, tear, and compact massive objects into manageable pieces. The plane, which seemed so enormous just moments ago, is carefully lowered onto the crusher's massive steel bed. It's like placing a model kit into a vise, except this model weighs over 100 tons. The scale of this operation is just mind-boggling. The process begins with a deafening roar as the crusher's hydraulic systems power up. The main component is a massive toothed steel plate that moves with unstoppable force. It's all controlled by a single operator in a reinforced cabin, watching a bank of monitors. The first step involves the primary crush. The giant plate presses down on the plane's fuselage. There's a sound you'll never forget, a symphony of screeching, groaning, and shattering metal. The strong aluminum alloy, designed to withstand the pressures of high-altitude flight, crumples like a discarded soft drink can. It's a visceral, powerful display of raw mechanical force. After the initial compaction, a series of powerful claw-like arms get to work. These rippers and shredders move in, tearing the crumpled wreckage apart. They pull at the wings, rip the tail section clean off, and tear the main body into smaller, more manageable chunks. It's not a clean or pretty process, it's a dirty, violent deconstruction. Every piece of the aircraft is systematically broken down. What was once a sleek, aerodynamic machine is reduced to a chaotic pile of twisted metal, wires, and broken parts. The sheer power on display is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. The final stage of the crushing process involves sorting. The mangled pile of metal is fed onto a series of conveyor belts. Powerful electromagnets pass over the debris, pulling out the ferrous metals like steel from the non-ferrous aluminum. Different alloys are separated, ready for the next stage of their journey. This isn't just about destruction, it's about classification. This step is crucial because recycling is the name of the game here. By separating the materials at this stage, Primeline ensures that every last bit of that old plane can be used again, making the entire process incredibly efficient and environmentally responsible. So, why go to all this trouble? Why not just let these old planes rust away in a desert boneyard? The answer is simple and incredibly important: resources. Building a modern aircraft requires a massive amount of high-grade aluminum, titanium, and other specialized alloys. Mining and processing these raw materials from the Earth is expensive, energy-intensive, and has a significant environmental footprint. By recycling these old planes, the industry can recover vast quantities of premium, aerospace-grade metals that are already processed. It's not just good for the planet, it's smart business. The journey of the recycled metal begins as soon as it leaves the crusher. Lorries filled to the brim with sorted scrap aluminum transport their cargo from the yard into the heart of the Primeline factory. Here, the twisted metal enters a new world, a world of intense heat and cutting-edge technology. The first stop is the furnace. We're talking about colossal vats capable of reaching temperatures that can melt the very sun. The scrap metal is loaded in, and with a roar of burning gas, it is reduced to a glowing, molten liquid. All impurities are burned away, leaving behind a pure liquid alloy. This molten metal is the lifeblood of the operation. From the furnace, it is poured into molds, forming huge rectangular blocks of solid aluminum called ingots. These ingots, once cooled, are glowing with latent heat and represent potential. They are the building blocks for the future. It's a modern form of alchemy, turning the wreckage of the past into the pristine raw material of tomorrow. The factory is a hive of activity, with robotic arms, automated carriers, and skilled technicians overseeing every step. It's a far cry from the dusty, chaotic scene at the crusher. Here, it's all about precision and control. These ingots are then subjected to a series of treatments to ensure they meet the exacting standards required for modern aviation. They are analyzed for chemical composition, tested for strength and durability, and then sent to massive rolling mills. Here, the blocks of metal are heated again and pressed between enormous rollers, flattening them into sheets of varying thicknesses. It's an incredibly loud process, filled with the screech of metal on metal. But the result is perfect: uniform sheets of aerospace-grade aluminum, ready to be shaped into the components of a brand new aircraft. The old soldier's spirit is being reborn. The transformation from flat sheet metal to complex aircraft part is where true craftsmanship meets high technology. These shiny new aluminum sheets are taken to the fabrication floor, a vast, clean, and brightly lit space. Here, computer-controlled lasers and water jets cut the metal into intricate shapes with pinpoint accuracy. These are the ribs, spars, and skin panels that will form the skeleton and body of a new plane. There is almost no waste. Every offcut is collected and sent right back to the furnace. It's a closed-loop system, a perfect circle of recycling and creation that is truly remarkable to witness. Next, these precision-cut parts are assembled. This is where human skill comes back to the forefront. Teams of highly trained engineers and mechanics work together, fitting these pieces into sub-assemblies. They use advanced riveting guns and bonding agents to join the parts, slowly but surely giving shape to the new aircraft. You can see the fuselage taking form, the wings being constructed piece by piece. It's like watching a giant, incredibly complex puzzle being solved. There's a sense of purpose and collaboration here that is palpable. Every person knows their role is critical to the final outcome. As the main structures come together, the plane begins to look like a plane again. It's a skeleton at first, an intricate lattice of metal. But then, the skin is applied, and the sleek, aerodynamic shape emerges. This is also when the new, modern technology is integrated. Miles of wiring are painstakingly routed through the fuselage, connecting the advanced flight controls, navigation systems, and communication equipment. This new aircraft will be lighter, stronger, and more technologically advanced than its predecessor, all thanks to the recycled materials and modern engineering. The old has truly given way to the new. And then, the final reveal. Standing in the main hangar, gleaming under the bright lights, is the finished product. A brand new, state-of-the-art Army plane ready for the future. Its paint is fresh, its lines are sharp, and it hums with potential. Standing before it are the men and women who built it. The crushers, the furnace operators, the engineers, the mechanics. There's a look of immense pride on their faces. They didn't just build a machine, they took a piece of history, a retired warrior, and gave it new life. It's a dirty, tough, and brilliant job, proving that sometimes to build the future, you first have to crush the past.